You're watching live from New Delhi, DT India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. Indian Navy gets 3 combatants. Prime Minister Modi says India is emerging as a major maritime power in the world. ISKCON is centre of faith, philosophy and knowledge, says Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi. Inaugurates Asia's second largest ISKCON temple in Mumbai. In international news, impeached South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol arrested and questioned by investigators in insurrection probe. Also, President Joe Biden to lift Cuba's designation as terror sponsor in exchange for prisoners. Cuba says it will release prisoners after talks with Vatican. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi dedicated 3 frontline naval combatants, INS Surat, INS Nilgiri and INS Vakshir, to the nation on their commissioning at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai. With these inductions, India becomes more powerful, more guarded and proudly moves in the direction of self-reliance or Atmanirbharta. Captain Nitin Kapoor, commanding officer INS Nilgiri, spoke exclusively to DD India Shama Mishra and explained the features of the ship.
We are right now on INS Nilgiri, and we've been told this particular warship is one of the most potent warships in the world. We have the commanding officer with us. He'll be telling us more about the ship's capabilities and the unique points of it.
It's a proud moment, not only for me, my crew, the Indian Navy, but I think for the nation and for every Indian that the Honorable Prime Minister today has commissioned 3 warships together. I think it's a day that will be remembered for many, many years to come. Nilgiri, as you said, is the first of class of Project P-17 Alpha. It's the next generation stealth frigate, the most potent platform, not only in the Indian Navy, but I think in all navies across the globe. The stealth that has been improved in this ship is tremendous. Stealthier gun, the super rapid gun mount upgraded version, that's the first of the class. Again, this gun is capable of firing smart ammunition, which is GPS guided, laser guided. It has increased the lethality, the accuracy and range of firepower that the Indian Navy has. Rest of the weapon systems, we have got a plethora of missiles, both surface-to-surface missiles and surface-to-air missiles, anti-submarine systems and weapons. The radar systems of the ship, they are very, very unique. They have been brought together in a package for the very first time on a frigate on the Indian Navy. The systems are capable of tracking and picking up air targets hundreds of kilometers away, be it a helicopter, a missile, a fighter aircraft, or even drones, which have become the latest threat for us. The weapon systems, the sensors of the ship are all primarily designed by Indian vendors in India, and that is what gives us the cutting edge technology in our hands. The motto of the ship is Adrishya Balam Ajay Shauryam. This means invisible strength, unconquerable courage. If you see the crest of the ship or the mascot of the ship, it's a Nilgiri bison. This bison is found in the Nilgiri forest, in the Nilgiri hills. If you've ever seen that bison, people just run away. People just run away. And that is why this Nilgiri is also that bison. The enemies of our nation will run away.
All right, so you all are the Blazing Bulls, correct?
We are the Blazing Bulls.
So they are the Blazing Bulls, and the crew, the Blazing Bulls, are all set, and they will, undertake any operation required to make our frontiers more safer and become a new guard to our nation. With camera person Kapil Maske, this is Shama Mishra for DD India, Mumbai.
DD India's Shama Mishra also spoke to Commander Vineet Sharma, commanding officer INS Vakshir. He explained the features of the submarine and how it will be beneficial for the Indian Navy.
We are here at INS Vakshir, the submarine, and this is the second potent platform of the day that was launched by Prime Minister, we have the commanding officer of the submarine, Vinit Sharma, with us. Sir, tell us a little about your INS Vakshir and how potent it is to protect Mother India.
I will start with the name, which is INS Vakshir. The name came for the erstwhile Vakshir submarine, which was commissioned on 26 December 1974. Incidentally, we have completed 50 years of the commissioning, and the INS Vakshir takes the name of the older Vakshir, and we have to carry forward the legacy which was made by her. This is 6th of the Kalvari class submarine. The 5 submarines are already commissioned, and they were operating in Indian Ocean region, with us being commissioned today. It's a milestone event, not only because today INS Vakshir gets commissioned. We have the privilege to get commissioned with 2 other ships, which is 1 destroyer and 1 frigate, Surat and Nilgiri respectively.
How instrumental would be Vakshir, in protecting coastal frontiers and, being termed as the mighty guard to India?
The submarine plays a very important role in the defense part of our nation, which is the concept of the Indian Navy. That means it is required to be stealthy. It is required to operate without any support on the basis of integral sensor, operate in enemy adversary areas, detect at longer ranges, do anti-surface operation, anti-submarine operations, do intelligence gathering, operate in hostile environment, and capable of engaging a large number of ships. So induction of INS Vakshir into Indian Navy and Indian Navy, INS Vakshir joining the Indian Navy definitely is a big boost, and it has strengthened not only the submarine arm, the combat capability of the Indian Navy itself. So our interest in the Indian Ocean region are much more assured, and 100% the submarine is going to be contributing towards that fact the more.
All right, thank you very much for talking to us. So that was the CEO telling all about the capabilities and how instrumental INS Vakshir would be in protecting our country.
Well, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated Asia's second largest ISKCON temple being built in Kharghar, Navi Mumbai today. The project, spread over 9 acres, includes a temple with several deities, a Vedic education center, proposed museum and auditorium, healing center, among others. It has been constructed entirely of white and brown marble stones. In the hall of the temple, pictures of Lord Krishna have been used using 3-dimensional techniques. This temple is dedicated to Lord Krishna and has been named Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan. The ISKCON temple aims to promote universal brotherhood, peace and harmony, drawing from the teachings of the Vedas. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Modi lauded ISKCON for its feeling of service.
सच्ची सेवा वही है जिसमें आपका कोई स्वार्थ ना हो। हमारे सभी धार्मिक ग्रंथों और शास्त्रों के मूल में भी सेवा भावना है। ISKCON जैसी इतनी विराट संस्था भी इसी सेवा भावना से काम करती है। शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य और पर्यावरण से जुड़े कितने ही काम आपके प्रयास से होते हैं। कुंभ में ISKCON सेवा के कई बड़े कार्य कर रहा है। साथियों, मुझे संतोष है कि हमारी सरकार भी इसी सेवा भावना के साथ पूरे समर्पण से लगातार देशवासियों के हित में काम कर रही है।
Well, India leads the epitome of resilience among the leading economies despite the challenging global environment. The PhD CCI report on India's growth story shows continuous growth, with GDP surpassing $4 trillion in 2025. India will also become the 4th largest economy by 2026, supported by robust economic fundamentals and dynamic business environment. An analysis conducted by the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry in a report on New Year Economics, PhD CCI Economic Outlook 2025 projects that India will be the most resilient economy among the top 10 leading economies in the next 3 years. The analysis is based on leading macroeconomic indicators, including growth of the GDP, exports, savings, investments, and debt to GDP ratio. With the slogan of self-reliance, the Indian Army celebrated its 77th annual day in Pune. On this occasion, the Army Chief assured the nation of all safety and security, but at the same time raised a word of caution for the northern border, which India shares with China. DD India's Vishal Baristo brings you this special report.
This is Indian Army, alert, agile and always ready to serve the nation. With chest out and head held high, the men in uniform displayed a gallant parade in front of their chief, General Upendra Dwivedi. After Bengaluru and Lucknow, this is the third time the Indian Army celebrated its annual day outside the national capital, Delhi. The Indian Army is celebrating 2025 with a mission of self-reliance and technological transfer. As the marching contingent passed by the saluting dais, the message was sent loud and clear across the borders. India is ready and always on the alert to safeguard its interest. The dispute with China on the northern border also found mention in the Army Chief's speech. It is to be noted that India and China made some progress in reducing tension in the eastern Ladakh sector.
We have to make sure that whatever was done in Galwan should not get repeated. It means our eyes and ears and whole of nation approach should be focused towards that. Whether it's a diplomatic effort or a military effort or even MHA in terms of CAPF effort. We all should converge on this issue and make sure that we should not get any such surprises in the future.
The Indian Army is also laying great stress on the women empowerment in the forces. The all-women marching contingent was a reflection of this mission.
Women empowerment is definitely coming up really well. So talking about the parade itself, so our girls, that is the Agniveer contingent, we have been practicing for last 40 days and it's really a very pride moment for us to march and give the salute to the Chief of Army Staff. So we are feeling really happy and great about it.
As the Indian Army put its best foot forward with latest in technological advancements, the highlight of the show were robotic mules in the parade. These robots have been developed indigenously.
This is a robotic mule and it is quite useful in all terrain. This is made in India and this is a great example of Indian Army getting self-reliant and also going through a tech transformation. With cameraman Yogesh in Pune, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
In other news, it is a significant step to deepen cultural and spiritual ties. India's Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan launched the official website for Kashi Tamil Sangamam 3.0. Scheduled from 15th of February to 24th of Feb, Kashi Tamil Sangamam 3.0 celebrates ancient bond between Tamil Nadu and Kashi. This year, the central theme of Kashi Tamil Sangamam is the life and legacy of Maharishi Agastya, a sage whose contributions to Tamil literature and Indian knowledge traditions remain unparalleled.
Speciality and uniqueness of this Kashi Tamil Sangamam 3rd edition is Rishi Agastya is the focal point of this Samagamam, and after Sri Rama Mandir's Prana Pratishtha, this is the first Kashi Tamil Sangamam we are organizing.
And still to come on DD India, on the other side, we'll get you how Gaza ceasefire is in final stages and Hamas has accepted Gaza ceasefire. And Assam of India's northeast woos UAE investors for Advantage Assam 2.0 summit.
रिटायरमेंट प्लानिंग के लिए तेरा एसआईपी के बारे में क्या ख्याल है?
रिटायरमेंट
अभी तो पूरी लाइफ बाकी है यार। और तुझे नहीं लगता अगर रिटायरमेंट के बारे में अभी से नहीं सोचे तो आगे जाके प्रॉब्लम होगी?
पर रिटायरमेंट के बारे में सोचना क्यों है इतना जरूरी? जब तक आप रिटायर हो जाएंगे महंगाई काफी ज्यादा बढ़ जाएगी और आपकी इनकम वो तो रुक ही जाएगी। इसीलिए आज ही म्यूचुअल फंड्स में एसआईपी शुरू कीजिए और हर महीने थोड़ा थोड़ा करके धन इकट्ठा कीजिए एक कंफर्टेबल रिटायर्ड लाइफ जीने के लिए। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने वित्तीय सलाहकार से परामर्श करें। LIC म्यूचुअल फंड द्वारा निवेशक शिक्षा की एक पहल। म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिम के अधीन है। योजना से संबंधित सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
Geopolitics and trade deals.
You're watching DT India Live. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and moving on to Gaza ceasefire, where there seems to be a new ray of hope to end the Israel-Hamas conflict. There are reports coming in that the ceasefire deal is almost culminating into its final stages. The draft proposal shared with Israel and Hamas by Qatari mediators would see 33 children, women and older men, as well as sick and wounded hostages released during the first phase of an extended ceasefire. Aarti Rana of DD India gets us this report.
Qatar, Egypt and the United States have intensified efforts to broker a ceasefire to enable the release of hostages taken during Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. More than 8 hours of talks in Doha had fueled optimism. Officials from mediators Qatar, Egypt and the United States, as well as Israel and Hamas, said an agreement for a truce in the besieged enclave and the release of hostages was closer than ever.
During the past months, there were underlying issues, major issues between the two parties unresolved. These issues were resolved during the talks in the past couple of weeks, and therefore we have reached a point where the major issues that were preventing a deal from happening were addressed, and we have language pertaining to these issues that has been distributed between both parties.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony, meanwhile, said that it is up to Hamas to seal a Gaza ceasefire, saying a final proposal is on the table.
Over the past several weeks, our intensive efforts have brought us to the brink of full and final agreement. On Sunday, the United States, Qatar, and Egypt put forward a final proposal. The ball is now in Hamas's court. If Hamas accepts, the deal is ready to be concluded and implemented.
While Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar, during a visit to Rome, said that there was a true willingness from our side to reach an agreement.
I believe that if we will achieve this hostage deal, we will have a majority in the government that will support the agreement. So this is the simple answer. I know there is a true willingness from our side to reach an agreement.
US President Joe Biden and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi also held discussions in Washington on Tuesday, with both the leaders emphasizing urgent need for a deal to be implemented and surging humanitarian aid in Gaza. Israel believes most of these hostages on the list are alive, but has not had confirmation from Hamas. The ceasefire deal has left families of the 98 hostages still in the enclave facing a mix of hope, apprehension, and in some cases anger as negotiators make a final push to seal an agreement.
I don't know what's his situation, so I try not to prepare, because what I'll prepare? To a funeral and to a celebration together? I mean, that's all this time since October 7. Funerals and small celebration when hostages coming home and continuing to the next.
With all sides expressing optimism, the international community is watching closely. The potential for a truce offers a glimmer of hope amid the ongoing humanitarian crisis. As talks approach a critical juncture, the world awaits news on whether a truce can be achieved. Bureau Report, DD India.
In other news, South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk Yeol was arrested on Wednesday, marking a historic moment in the nation's political crises. But Yoon Suk Yeol is exercising his right to remain silent, investigators said on Wednesday, as the suspended leader was questioned over his abortive declaration of martial law. Yoon's arrest follows his refusal to appear at the Constitutional Court and the growing fallout from his failed martial law declaration last month.
South Korean authorities on Wednesday stormed President Yoon's heavily fortified residence, leading to his arrest. The operation saw police officers and investigators from the Corruption Investigation Office scaling walls and hiking up trails to reach the compound. Their second attempt to arrest the impeached president. Yoon had been holed up in his hillside residence guarded by a small army of security personnel behind barbed wire barriers. Yoon was arrested over his controversial martial law declaration in December, a move that escalated tensions across the nation. The declaration, which involved deploying soldiers and helicopters to parliament, triggered mass protests and calls for his impeachment. Yoon's decision to declare martial law was seen as a severe overreach, leading to the political instability that eventually resulted in his removal from office. Yoon's motorcade left his residence and arrived at the offices of the Corruption Investigation Office for questioning. However, impeached South Korean president, in a pre-recorded video message, said that he had decided to submit to questioning over his failed martial law bid to avert bloodshed, even though he believed the probe was illegal.
저는 오늘 이들이
When I saw them break into the security area using firefighting equipment today, I decided to respond to the CIO's investigation, despite it being an illegal investigation, to prevent unsavory bloodshed. However, that doesn't mean I am acknowledging the investigation of the CIO.
하지만 공수처 출석에 응하기로 했습니다.
Yoon is the first sitting president in South Korea's history to be arrested, a development that has seen shockwaves throughout the country. Following his arrest, he can be held up for up to 48 hours under the existing warrant. Investigators would need to apply for another warrant if they wish to extend his detention. Meanwhile, the Constitutional Court is deliberating on whether to uphold Yoon's impeachment. The next hearing is scheduled for January 16th, with the nation watching with bated breath if his removal from office will be finalized. Harshita Oberoy's report for DD India.
Well, the Biden administration has notified Congress that it will remove Cuba from its list of state sponsors of terrorism as part of a prisoner release deal. The move will likely be overturned after the return to office next week of the president-elect Donald Trump. He reinstated Cuba's terror designation in the final days of his first presidency in 2021, banning U.S. economic aid and arms exports to the country. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo designated Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism in January 2021, just days before leaving office, saying at the time that Havana was providing support for acts of international terror. Cuba said on Tuesday it would release 553 prisoners imprisoned for diverse crimes in response to the announcement. Cuba has welcomed the move as a step in the right direction, but lamented it was still under U.S. sanctions in place since 1962. The Catholic Church had been renegotiating with the communist-run government over the release of the prisoners. Most of them were jailed following unprecedented island-wide protest in July 2021. India and Sri Lanka have signed an MOU for the supply of 80 single cabs to police stations in Sri Lanka's northern province, backed by an Indian grant of 300 million Sri Lankan rupees. The initiative aims to enhance law enforcement and citizen safety, reflecting India's commitment to people-centric development, cooperation in Sri Lanka across housing, health, education and agriculture. A high-level Assam delegation led by Cultural Affairs Minister Bimal Bora arrived in UAE for a 4-day visit to promote investment opportunities ahead of the Advantage Assam 2.0 summit in Guwahati to be held on February 25th. Minister Bora highlighted Assam's growth potential, especially in infrastructure, energy and technology sectors, and emphasized the state's natural advantages in major projects like Tata Electronics' $3 billion semiconductor unit. Special Secretary Sayadain Abbasi outlined Assam's goal to double its $69 billion GDP by 2030. The delegation also visited key UAE business hubs and focused on sectors like renewable energy and healthcare. The visit aims to strengthen Assam's economic ties with international investors. And now let's move on to some news from Maha Kumbh, the largest religious congregation in the world. Well, for the first time, pilgrims visiting the Triveni Sangam in Prayagraj for the Maha Kumbh will have a unique opportunity to circumambulate all 12 Jyotirlingas of Lord Shiva. This will be possible because of the newly built Shivalaya Park. Watch a special report by DD India, Siddharth Bharadwaj.
In Maha Kumbh 2025, large influx of tourists, devotees, pilgrims are coming on the holy land of Prayagraj. I am here at Arel Ghat and this is a very special place. This is called Shivalaya Park. Now, what is unique about Shivalaya Park is the very fact that you have 12 Jyotirling in this place, and people who are coming here can get darshan of all the 12 Jyotirling at one place. And also, it's ways to wonder. Everything here at this park has been built by 400 tons of recycled iron junk.
I'm here from Canada, and my first visit, and just walking into the park, I'm in awe of all the different setups over here.
This unique Shivalaya Park has built on 11 acres of land in Arel in Prayagraj at a cost of rupees 14 crore. Around 22 artists and 500 workers were engaged in building of this park. Set up on the theme of Ways to Wonder, this park is a symbol of art and cleanliness. What's unique at Shivalaya Park is that it unfolds the entire story of Samudra Manthan, or churning of the ocean. Upon entering the park, one can witness a live scene of Samudra Manthan, where Nag Vasuki is seen churning the ocean with a rope between demons and God. The creations of Nandi and Trishul further enhances the grandeur of this place.
The whole place completes the journey of being here at Kumbh.
Around 450 to 500 million people are expected to come in this mega festival, which is considered as the largest religious gathering on earth. And this is a place which certainly cannot be missed. With camera person Rakesh Kumar, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Prayagraj.
Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Sakal Bhatin from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.
रिटायरमेंट प्लानिंग के लिए तेरा SIP के बारे में